Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
Hello everyone. In my latest column for ThePrint, I write about the crackdown on Didi Chuxing. This latest crackdown on a tech company in China is different from what we've seen in the past, where Xi Jinping has led a campaign to rein in the private sector, such as the case is with Alibaba. But in the case of Didi Chuxing, the company is accused of sharing sensitive data with the US and is currently going through a cybersecurity review. In 2017, Didi Chuxing won a rare government license to survey parts of China, and this survey would also involve making high precision maps of different regions of China. In this license, Didi produced maps which could also include military bases and sensitive Chinese sites. And currently the Cyber Affairs Administration of China is reviewing Didi's data to look at if the data was shared with the US. So the review currently involves not just the cyberspace administration, but it also has the security agencies within China, which are part of the intelligence apparatus in China, to investigate if Didi Chuxing did share that data with the US, which may have compromised the military bases and the sites that are connected to the military bases in China. The investigation into Didi Chuxing is also about the conflict between US and China over access to sensitive data. There was a story about Tesla where the Chinese military bases banned access of Tesla cars to their localities, and they made sure that these Tesla cars would not roam around any of these sensitive military bases. So similarly, the US wants access to data within China, and Chinese are trying to access data from the US bases, and there is that conflict over private companies and how these companies store their data, and that's what can explain what's going on with Didi. And what we can say is that the crackdown on Didi is going to be much worse than what we've seen with Alibaba and some of the other companies which got away with paying a small fine. Didi Chuxing is likely to go through a criminal investigation for not following through on the request which was made by the Chinese authorities. China's concerns about national security actually hampers the access to US market for the Chinese companies that depend upon the US IPO to raise large amounts of money. The IPO in Hong Kong could also level up to the amount of money you can raise in the US, but usually there is a certain difference between the amount of money these companies can raise in a Hong Kong IPO versus the US IPO, and there is that whole difference between the Chinese innovative system versus the US ecosystem, where startups have access to other things, not just the money, and that is where the Chinese companies are going to be restricted with the kind of national security concerns that have been raised by China, and the companies may not be able to access the kind of talent that is available all across the world if they are restricted from listing in the US. The Cyberspace Administration of China had requested Didi Chuxing to make 20 which was requested to be delayed by the Chinese authorities, and that's where the conflict lies, where Didi went ahead with the IPO without taking care of the requests which were made by the Chinese authorities. And Didi Chuxing almost raised $4.4 billion in the US IPO, and they are listed under the name of Didi Global, and this IPO has been a big success. But the Chinese authorities are not happy with the way Didi Chuxing decided to go about with their IPO.